in this country during recent years are already forming the opinion, and it's a just opinion, that if there's to be bleeding, it should be reciprocal, bleeding on both sides.
He can cause many to lose their lives and lose much blood if they follow and obey him in the course that he has taken.
Mr. Malcolm, he is a very energetical brother, and as he said, he lacks action, and maybe I'm a little too slow for him. We would like to move a little faster.
Does this split disturb you that has been reported?
No, what Malcolm X does is his business. He's one man.
Your leader is Elijah Muhammad.
Yes, sir.
These four voices represent a significant split in the small Negro supremacy group known as the Black Muslims. Malcolm X, the organization's angriest and most articulate spokesman, has quit and sharply revised his views. His words and actions suggest the Black Muslim movement may be withering on the vine. This is our subject tonight on Dateline Chicago. Many organizations are trying to speak for the American Negro in this crucial year of the civil rights movement. But one group appears to be waiting in the shadows, the Black Muslims. They oppose integration, yet civil rights leaders fear many Negroes will turn to the extreme Black Muslim doctrine. This question may well be answered by recent changes in the Muslim organization. This group began 34 years ago in 1930. When a silk peddler named Wallace Bard began preaching that mankind originally was black and the Negro was superior to white. When he mysteriously disappeared in 1934, his disciple Elijah Poole became the new leader and was given the name Elijah Muhammad. After assuming leadership, Muhammad established his national headquarters in Chicago. In recent years, his annual convention here on February 26th, the birthday of the original founder, attracts thousands of believers from across the country. These meetings are always distinguished by two groups, the Sisters of Islam, women wearing long flowing robes, and the Fruit of Islam, a highly trained, militant group of young men who maintain order, search all guests, act as ushers, money collectors, and personal guards to the top leaders. Muhammad's religious teaching is that Fard was actually Allah himself, and that he, Elijah, is the sole messenger or prophet of Allah with the power to translate the truth of both the Quran and the Bible. Although he has made pilgrimages to the Islamic city of Mecca in Saudi Arabia, Muhammad has not been embraced by Orthodox Muslims in this country. He denounces Christianity as the white man's religion, and he differs from the universal brotherhood belief of Arab Muslims by preaching the superiority of black men. Muhammad claims the day of the evil white man's destruction is at hand, and talks vaguely of this time as Armageddon.
But today, the end has appeared, and now the true religion is being preached in your midst, and all the people of God, white, brown, yellow, and red, are now begin to flow to that religion. Why? Because by nature they are from the God of truth. They could not accept it before this time. You are marveling why black Africa is leaving Christianity and going over to Islam. It is because by nature they are Islam people. By nature they were born Muslim. By nature they are the very people of God. They are by nature the original people. By nature they are the honor. They are the original orders of the universe. And it's time that they wake up now and take over their own.
3 years ago, Dateline Chicago reported that the Muslim leadership claimed 100,000 members, and they predicted big things to come. Today, two of their main goals have not been achieved. A $20 million center in Chicago remains unbuilt. And although the Muslims list nearly 30 mosques or temples in major American cities, they will be hard-pressed to have 5 million converts by the end of 1964. Their present membership is estimated to be 275,000. The Muslim Temple No. 2 on Chicago's south side has made progress in its effort to form a community of business firms owned and operated by Negroes for Negroes. It has a grocery store at 614 East 71st Street. It has a clothing factory and store on 79th Street. The temple owns a bakery and cleaning shop. There is a temple barber shop on 79th Street. Much of the group's social life revolves around the modern Shabazz restaurant, where such celebrated members as heavyweight champion Cassius Clay take their meals. The menu follows the Islam faith, shunning all pork products and featuring a special bean pie. Firmly prohibited are drinking, smoking, and all forms of drug addiction. Alongside the group's mosque or temple at 5335 South Greenwood Avenue is the Islam University. This is their term for an elementary and high school. The director, Sister Christine, says the school accommodates nearly 600 students by using double-shift classes. The youngsters are clean, neat, and well-disciplined. The Muslims are proud of their success in recruiting and rehabilitating teenage dropouts. They also recruit desperate and friendless individuals in jails or prisons. The black Muslims are almost puritanical in their dress habits and behavior. They appear to use their doctrine to eliminate self-hate, instill self-respect and dignity in their converts. In recent years, Muhammad's chief public spokesman and recruiter has been an acid-tongued orator named Malcolm X. He joined the movement while serving in a Massachusetts prison, and like other converts, dropped his white man's surname Little for the simple letter X. Until this year, Malcolm had been expected to become Muhammad's successor in Chicago. Now the picture has changed. After the assassination of President Kennedy, Muhammad suspended Malcolm for saying the chickens have come home to roost. This move caused a split, with Malcolm quitting and taking some aggressive members with him.
We never will live somewhere else.
I'm not surprised at him leaving us, but I'm surprised at what he said and what he hinted on. But I do think that Mr. Malcolm still believes in Islam. I don't think that his deviating from us means anything like the slowdown of progress of converts. I don't think that will hurt us at all.
In spite of Muhammad's assurances, Malcolm claimed he was winning away younger Muslim members.
And by the hundreds of thousands today, we find that our own people have become impatient and are turning away from your white nationalism, which you call democracy, toward the militant, uncompromising philosophy of black nationalism. And I might point out right here that as soon as we announced that we were going to start a black nationalist party in this country, we received mail from coast to coast, especially from young people at the college level, the university level, who expressed complete sympathy and support and a desire to take an active part in any kind of political action based upon black nationalism designed to correct or eliminate immediately the evils that our people have suffered here for 400 years.
The seriousness of Malcolm's defection from Elijah Muhammad's black Muslims was revealed in this Chicago interview with Malcolm's brother Philbert, who heads a temple in Michigan.
Sorry, the movement. I would think so. I think that the things that he is saying is designed to make the weak ones and the ones that are unaware think that he is the one that has finally reached to the place where he is to take over and to do this and to do that, but that's not the truth.
If you take the warning, perhaps you can still save yourself. But if you ignore it or ridicule it, well, death is already at your doorstep. There are 22 million African Americans who are ready to fight for independence right here. When I say fight for independence right here, I don't mean any nonviolent fight or turn the other cheek fight. Those days are gone. Those days are over.
You can suggest something, and so many people will take that suggestion seriously. And when you attack the person who says it, he always jumps and says, well, I didn't mean that, I meant this. But thousands have lost their life because they thought you meant something else.
You think this is Malcolm's goal?
Oh, yes. An empty bag makes a lot of noise.
Well, I believe that my people is more in for a peaceful solution to the problem of the so-called Negro than they are for violence. There are not any of them, I don't think, that will follow that move, a violent move. They all believe in a peaceful solution to the problem. And I believe Mr. Malcolm believes the same. I don't think that he's actually talking himself to fair them.
The black Muslims have replaced the fiery Malcolm X with a less violent hero and have denied being involved in recent violence in New York. That story after this message. Today, there are two factions in the Muslims. The New York group with black nationalist bookstores emphasize social protest and militancy. In Chicago, Elijah Muhammad preaches the group's religious beliefs. In Harlem, 4 recent white murders have been blamed on teenagers, trained by rebels who deserted the Muslims. One victim was 28-year-old social worker Miss Eileen Johnson of Elgin, Illinois. Her mother, Mrs. John Johnson, told us of the personal tragedy.
The reports coming from the paper, New York Times, seem to feel that these groups are incited by the black Muslims. They may not actually preach this at their meetings, but they incite it. And that they are frustrated, unemployed young Negroes who are running around with nothing to do. Our daughter Eileen, we feel, was a victim of senseless violence brought on by blind racial hatred. She was very anxious to help, very conscious of racial tensions, and she was very anxious to help to relieve them. She had gone back to get her degree at the University of Wisconsin after working in Chicago for 5 years. And it was very hard for her, but she knew that she couldn't get into this type of work unless she had a degree. And she had recently also been accepted for the Peace Corps, which she had thought of going into in the spring. But she was interested in this type of work and really felt like she was accomplishing something. Now, Senator Douglas termed our attitude noble in this affair. But we really don't feel that way, my husband and I. We feel that it's realistic.
At least 6 youths have been arrested in connection with the deaths of Miss Johnston and 3 other whites. The gang is known as the Blood Brothers, and their alleged aim, attack and kill whites. Elijah Muhammad discusses the story at his winter home in Phoenix, Arizona.
I have no knowledge of it no more than what I have heard coming over the air. Through the radios, well, I saw a headline of a paper that was printed here in Phoenix, I think it was a couple of days ago, that mentioned something about some black Muslims killing some white people in New York. I knew nothing about it, not my following.
The New York defectors reportedly come from the Muslim semi-military group known as the Fruit of Islam. Our reporter asked Muhammad about the organization.
This is the name that was given to us by Allah himself in the person of Master Farad Muhammad back in 1931 in Detroit, Michigan, were those of the males who have accepted Islam and lived the clean and pure life of a Muslim. They are called the fruit of Islam, which means the first convert to Islam in America.
Is the fruit of Islam an armed force? Messenger Muhammad denies that this elite organization is trained in the use of firearms. Our reporter asked about the group's alleged expertness in judo and their expertness in the bone-shattering defensive tactic known as karate.
Yes, sir, we practice such ourselves in the class, absolutely private class. We teach that in the way of exercising body protection ourselves. And class, it's a private class of ours. Never practice in the public.
Malcolm X also denies any part of the New York violence. A few days ago, he completed a pilgrimage to the Middle East and Africa and said during a Chicago debate that he has had a change of heart about all whites being evil.
In the past, I have permitted myself to be used to make sweeping indictments of all white people. And these generalizations have caused injuries to some whites who did not deserve them. Because of the spiritual rebirth which I was blessed to undergo as a result of the pilgrimage to the holy city of Mecca, I no longer subscribe to sweeping indictments of any one race.
At a Chicago news conference, Malcolm X hinted at a decline in black Muslim influence when we asked how his new nationalist group differs from Elijah Muhammad's Muslim.
To my understanding, we all believe in Islam. We all believe in Allah. All of us are Muslims. The only difference probably is that the Nation of Islam, as it is guided spiritually by the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, doesn't involve itself in politics in any form. It's a group that stresses moral reformation, spiritual things, spiritual values, and it has been quite successful in removing the evil from the Negro community that destroys the moral fiber of the Negro community. But because of its failure to become actively involved in the struggle of the Negroes overall, many persons in the past have drifted away from it and are now becoming involved with us in an active effort to work with other groups toward solving the political, social, and economic evils that afflict our people.
Since Malcolm's departure, Muhammad has given his blessing to a new and more publicized follower and recruiter, world heavyweight champion, Cassius Muhammad Ali Clay.
We are
Clay is no glib Malcolm, but he has become an idol for youngsters. Rarely has he time anymore to make up rhymes for reporters. He's too busy recruiting for the black Muslim. At an earlier meeting with reporters at O'Hare Airport, Clay defended the Muslim doctrine.
What's your lapel pin symbolize? That sun represents freedom, and the moon represents justice, and the star represents equality. Moon represents equality. That's the real freedom sign.
We're talking about equality, civil rights freedom now. Is that what you're talking about?
No, I ain't saying about civil rights. I'm not. This is complete freedom, not just a cup of coffee, seat in the school, a token. This is real.
Real freedom. Does this mean the black man takes over or runs his own society or what?
Oh, well, I don't know about that. I'm not that powerful. I have to.
Well, you're talking about the real freedom. Could you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, unlike Muhammad teaches, the only freedom we can really have is separation.
Muhammad himself has now confirmed Clay's contention that the Muslims will not join current civil rights leaders in their integration campaign.
Well, I think the present action that they are making all the way around is very foolish to the real and permanent thing that they should be doing. to achieve equality with you, I don't think it would be the way. Or rather, I should say this. I don't think I could make myself a dog to try to get equality with a highly respectful citizen of the land by laying down at his doorstep, begging him for what he has and fighting him if he don't want to give it to me. And I don't think I would look like his equal if he would grant it to me by first getting down on the ground under his feet and then telling him to accept me as his equal. I think I could make myself deserving of such by educating myself in the way that he has educated himself.
Today, few Negro leaders, militant or moderate, feel that the Negro masses will accept the black Muslim social doctrine.
I believe the future of the Muslim movement without Malcolm X is very, very dark. Without Malcolm, the Muslims are no more than a religious sect, and of the fundamentalist type, that would have no significant appeal to the masses of young people that are on the move today in the era of civil rights. It was Malcolm X, his dynamic personality, his ability to take on all comers and debate, that really drew attention to the Muslims as a movement. It is inconceivable to think that the Muslim movement without Malcolm X would be of any challenge to the present civil rights movement today, which by and large encompasses the masses of the young people in our society.
I'm not one of those who feel that our struggle must be a struggle to rise from a position of disadvantage to one of advantage, thereby subverting justice. I'm convinced that a doctrine of black supremacy is as dangerous as a doctrine of white supremacy.
A strong force for the moderate Negroes is Dr. J.H. Jackson, pastor of Chicago's Olivet Baptist Church. He heads the 5.5 million members of the National Baptist Convention.
I cannot see how we can afford to retreat from law and order. If we do not get the things that we want now, we must not lose confidence in the power of the law. I feel that in some instances, the power of suggestion may occasion some of this trouble. We must not make our young people, or adults for that matter, believe that if Congress does not act as we desire Congress to act, that the next thing is to become violent and vicious and lawbreakers.
Morris Janowitz of the University of Chicago's Department of Sociology is a student of race relations. He has just completed a book on recent social changes and prejudice. We asked Mr. Janowitz about the black Muslim.
I think there are two reasons why this group has grown so much in the present scene. One is the great concern with civil rights and with equality, and under these conditions, these people have a different view of how to achieve it. And secondly, the whole growth of African nationalism and the emergence of the African nations has had an impact in a developing sense of ethnic or national consciousness among these American Negroes.
Mr. Janowitz concluded with these words about the impact and future of the black Muslim.
Here's a group which says we don't want to hide the fact that we are Negroes, and this is a positive contribution. This is why many people who are not members of the Muslim movement have a certain kind of identification with it, a kind of vicarious thrill, because the Muslim movement says things about the whites which they don't feel that they themselves can say, and they get a kind of an attraction from that. And I think over the long run, the whole question will depend upon public enlightenment and how the mass media present it. If they present it simply as a threat, and as a powerful threat, it may grow. If they present it as a symptom of a problem in American society, I think it will wither
on the vine over the long run. Not that it will ever be completely from the scene, but it will be something that we can live with without any sense of fear or alarm.